Hello there and welcome. This is Mikhail or Michael speaking. As always, I salute to those who decided to support me financially, be it through PayPal, Patreon, or Super Thanks. Your financial support really helps with my financial stability, so thank you, friends. Today's video I will start with situation happening in Avdiivka. As a result of fighting in between Novokalinova, Krasnogorovka and Novobakhmutivka, about 20 Ukrainian soldiers decided to save their lives and surrender to the Russians. It would seem that they didn't want to take part in meaningless assaults straight at the Russian positions. It has also been reported that initially they started advancing. However, they were met with a gruesome sight of their own comrades being killed in the previous attack and decided to give up. In any way, the situation here is somewhat the same as it was. Russians attack from Krasnogorivka and Novobakhmutivka and across this road in attempt to reach Novokalinova. And Ukrainians are trying to counterattack Russians everywhere they can. But as you can see, based on the video I just showed you, the situation doesn't look all that good for them. Overall, Ukrainians unsuccessfully tried to change the situation southwest of Avdiivka, attacking towards Vodyane and Apitne, as well as trying to reverse a situation in Pervomayske and Nevelske. From what I can tell you is that they were only able to advance ever slightly in Nevelske, capturing some territories. However, it is unclear how much. I would assume it's few trenches somewhere in front of Nevelske. Then let's quickly visit situation in Marinka, which is located here. Yesterday I reported of a relative success that Russians were able to achieve here in this sector. However, I didn't know exactly where it happened. Now we know. As a result of storming operations, Russian troops were able to about this much territory. As you can see, it is not very significant change, maybe less than a square kilometer. However, this indicates a change of dynamic. Now, what's interesting is that Russians got Ukrainian troops here in the middle of rotation, which I assume played a significant role in Russian advancements. If we zoom in, we can see that Russians basically advanced along the road, and also along the road there is a forest line that covers Russian advancements. So perhaps Russians will continue attacking across this road, cutting off whatever Ukrainian troops are stationed here. If we zoom in slightly more, we can see that there is an interesting situation develops. The settlement of Novomikhailivka is getting closer and closer to a operational encirclement. For some time, Russians were trying to advance towards this settlement, but were unable to do so and mostly shelled it. But if dynamic will continue to shift in Russian favor, I'm sure Russians will be able to advance here even further and not only endanger the encirclement of Novomikhailivka, but also start fighting for Paraskaveivka and even Kostiantynivka. Then we have also a situation developing in Bakhmut or Artyomovsk. Now, those reports are mostly coming from a pro-Ukrainian source. Basically, what they're claiming is that they were able to advance here near Berkhivka and to the direction of Yahidne or Yagodne and push Russians about this much, initiating the fighting for the settlement of Yagodne itself. How truthful those reports are is unclear. Pro-Ukrainian maps and more official pro-Ukrainian sources are not claiming anything of that manner, so I would assume we should wait and see. As always, Ukrainians try to attack from Ivanivsky and across the canal in the direction of Klishevka and here towards Kurdyumovka. Those attacks did not bring any success to the Ukrainian forces. Then let's quickly visit a Seversk front. There are no territorial changes. Overall, Russians continue their military operations towards Spirne, Verkhny Kamyanske and Belogorovka. In fact, there is a video of a Ukrainian tank being destroyed somewhere in the Belogorovka sector. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the entire video, only the destruction of that named tank. It has people dying with it, so if you want to see full videos that I'm showing to you, please consider joining my Telegram channel. It's there without any censorship. Overall, Ukrainian attacks here in this sector was part of a diversion mission in attempt to divert as much as possible of Russian troops and not allow them to regroup and relocate elsewhere. Ukrainian attacks were generally reported in Dibrova and Serebryansky forest. Then let's quickly visit a Vremivka tactical bridgehead. Situation here remains most interesting as always. It would seem Ukrainians did not attack in mass. Yesterday, as I reported, they were building up artillery fire as if they are going to attack. However, this attack did not come. This didn't stop them from committing into small-scale offensive operations from Zlata Niva towards Novodonetsk, as well as in attempt to advance further and finally enter the settlement of Urozhaine or Staromayorsk. Unsuccessfully. It has been reported that although Russians did not recapture Makarivka, they still have full fire control over the settlement. Ukrainians also committed into attacking from Livadne towards Priyutne and from Novodarivka in attempt to cut off Russians in Rivnopol. As of right now, those attacks also did not achieve any success. Here is a video of Russian artillery working somewhere within Zaporozhian sector, which I found particularly interesting due to it being simultaneously scary and oddly beautiful. Let's also visit this sector where Orikhiv and Guliaipole is located. There were no major Ukrainian offensives here. However, Ukrainians did not stop and attacked from Guliaipole towards Dorozhnyanka. Some reports suggest that Ukrainians were able to reach the outskirts of the settlement and initiate the fight for it. As you can see, at least a good portion of the settlement is within the gray zone, and the very outskirts of the fields and buildings are now in the Ukrainian control. As you can see, there is a road that leads from Guliaipole to Dorozhnyanka, which Ukrainians are surely using to advance their armor. Overall, as you can see, this road provides a great vector of attack for the Ukrainian forces, as it cuts very deep straight to the settlement of Pologi, which is a fairly big settlement and the biggest one here in this overall sector. Perhaps soon Ukrainians will try an attack across this road as well in the direction of Marfopil and Stepanivka in order to generally push Russians back from Guliaipole settlement. Then let's visit Orikhiv. No major offensive happened here as well. Ukrainians did commit to a limited attacks from Orikhiv, especially in the direction of Rabotina. Once again, tanks were reported in this sector, however in limited numbers. It would seem that after what happened in the first days of the offensive, they became more and more careful and do not stock up a lot of equipment in one place. Also, they have attacked from Malotokmachka towards Novopokrovka. None of those attacks had achieved any territorial gains or tactical success. Then let's also quickly visit this sector near Kamyanske, where it has been now fully confirmed that Ukrainians have been able to establish entire control over Lapkova village here. In a way, it was obvious even in yesterday's report when they were able to launch an unsuccessful attack towards Lugovo and Zherebyanki as well as Petykhatki. Capture of the settlement gave them staging point for those attacks. At the time of recording, it has been reported that Russians recently withstand another Ukrainian attack towards Petykhatki, with some of their tanks reported in this general sector. I also have a video for you of a Russian helicopter K-52 Alligator destroying Ukrainian tanks. Now, it would seem that those are Ukrainian tanks and not some farm equipment this time.
Потом еще одну во второй. Да-да-да. Сразу? Да-да-да-да-да. Давай, давай, второй который. Пуск. Есть. Отходим.
Yesterday, I fully expect another wave of Ukrainian attacks. However, it did not came. Ukrainians still to this day continue to regroup and reinforce their forces in Zaporozhye front, so it really seems they are deciding to double down with this counter-offensive and will strike. However, it is unclear whether they continue to strike in the Vremivka tactical bridgehead, as this is the only place where they were able to find a weak point, or they will attack elsewhere. Now, in a way, all the attacks that I've mentioned in Lapkova and Orikhiv, Malotokmachka, Guliaipole, Vremivka tactical bridgehead, those are probing attacks at this point, with attempt to find another weak point and exploit it further on. But as you can see, Russian defensive line at this point in time has no weak points. Ukraine's inability to penetrate Russian lines for about 4 days of fighting is a good proof of that. All in all, this is the end of the video. If it was to your liking, please consider supporting it with a like, comment, and a subscription. Those actions help to promote my videos to a wider audience, thus helps spread the message. I thank you in advance. Also, if you feel extra generous, please consider supporting me on Patreon. This will help to even out my financial situation and move me closer to the goal of working on YouTube full-time. I thank you in advance. As always, humanity calls me to condemn all violence against human beings. Have a good day and always remember, Russia will be free and great.